Okay, here I will presenting the 5 topic. The first one is principles in evaluation. Now let's talk about some key principles we need to follow when evaluating students. If we want our assessment to be fair, useful, and meaningful, these 5 principles are super important. Let's break them one by one. The first one is valid. First up, validity. This is mean when we evaluate students using the right kind of test based on what we actually want to measure. For example, if we want to test a student reading skills, we should use a reading test, not a speaking test. Okay? The question should focus on things like understanding the text, recognizing the words, and getting the meaning of sentence. So, in short, use the right tools for the right job. 2. Objective. We have objectivity. This means the results should reflect the real ability of the students without being influenced by personal feeling or bias. For example, let's say the teacher is grading essays. Instead of just going with the 5, the teacher used a clear rubric like a grammar, vocabulary, content relevance, so everyone is judged fairly. So to be fair, to be natural, and stick to the criteria. Third is fairness. This one's easy. It means equal treatment for everyone. Example, during a test, all students should get the same amount of the time. Then same the instruction and same the environment. No special treatment. So remember, give every student a fair shot. The 4 is accountable or responsible. Now, let's talk about accountability. As a teacher, we should be able to explain and justify every score we give. Example, a teacher keeps a record of student scores and how they were assessed. If a parent or principal asks about a grade, no worries, the teacher has all the evidence ready. So keep it clear and be ready to explain. 5 is comprehensive. Last but not least, comprehensive assessment. This means evaluating all aspects of learning, not just one part. Example, a teacher doesn't only give a written test. They also use project work, group discussion, even the classroom observation to cover knowledge, skills, and attitude. Bottom lines, use multiple methods to get the full picture. Okay? So let's move on to the second topic. It's rule and procedure in constructing a test. This is based on Bloom's taxonomy, okay? In education, tests play a big role. They help us see how well students have learned and whether they reach the learning goals. But to make sure the test is useful and effective, there are some important rules we need to follow when creating one. According to the James Dean Brown, there are 5 key rules to keep in mind. Let's go through them one by one. The first one is validity. Let's start with validity. This means a test should really measure what is supposed to measure. Example, if the goal is to check student writing skills, then the test should include writing, not just multiple choice questions. So always make sure your test match the learning objective. The 2 is reliability. This means the test should give consistent results, even if it takes again under the same condition. How? Use a clear, simple language in your question and choose format like multiple choice that are easier to score fairly. Also, try giving the test to a small group first, or we can call pretest, to spot any confusing parts and fix them before using it for real. The 3 is practicality. Now let's talk about practicality. This means that the test should be easy to create, use, and grade. Tips. 1 is make sure the test fits the available time, not too long, not too short. Use question types that are simple to score, especially if you have a lot of students. 2, don't make it too complicated if you don't have enough resources or time. The 4 is authenticity. Then we have authenticity. This means the test should be relevant to real-life situation. Example, instead of making grammar rules in isolation, give the student real text or ask them to write something they make written everyday life, like a letter of a report. You can also use project or case studies to help them apply what they have learned. Okay, 5 is washback effect. Finally, the washback effect, this is about how the test affect teaching and learning. And a good test encourages students to think deeply, not just memorize. It also gives useful feedback and help them learn and grow. So, design question that involves analysis and understanding, not just memory. And always try to give feedback afterward. Okay? The summary is to create a good test. Remember these 5 golden rules: validity, reliability, particularity, authenticity, and washback. Okay, the third topic is diagnostic test. Let's talk about diagnostic test. What is it and why is it important? Definition is a diagnostic test is a test that helps us find out what students don't understand yet. It's usually given before a lesson starts or at the beginning of the learning unit. And here the key point. This test is not giving for grades, instead of for helping teacher understanding students' problems, so they can choose the right teaching strategy. Okay, objective and the diagnostic test. In short, a diagnostic test is like a check-up before the real learning begins. It helps everyone start on the right track. Okay, let's move on to the four topic. It's a test item, validity and reliability. Validity definition is alright. So, what is validity actually? Well, according to the message, validity is about how strong the evidence is to support the use of the test scores. In other words, it's about how much we can trust the test to measure what it's supposed to. Now here's the thing, there's no single perfect definition of validity. Different experts have different takes on it. For example, Mehran in 1987 said that validity is basically for how accurate a test is in doing its job. Pretty simple, right? So if a test is valid, that means it's measuring the right thing. It gives results we can trust, and it's solid tools we can use in learning and assessment. If your test is valid, you're on the right track. It means your test is doing what it's meant to do. Okay, the last topic is item analysis. Now let's talk about it. Something super important is test making. Item analysis. What is item analysis? Item analysis is basically a way to check how good its test question is. It helps us know, are the questions too easy or too hard? Are they fair? Do they actually measure what we want students to know? In other words, it's like a quality control for your help items. Why we do it? To make sure our test is valid, reliable, and fair for everyone. Okay? There are 4 main things we look at. 1 is difficulty levels, 2 is discriminating, and 3 is homogeneity, and 4 is the structure function. These are the wrong, but I'm not gonna explain it. Okay, I'm Aprilia. Thank you so much for the listening. Bye bye.